Let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed nearly enough, especially in our stage of life. Dating after 60 can be exciting. It can feel hopeful. It can even feel like a second chance at companionship, laughter, and love. But here's the truth. At this age, we don't just date a person. We date their history, their habits, their health. And in this video, we're going to gently uncover 5 hidden health secrets your new senior partner might be keeping, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not, and the simple pre-dating checklist you need before your heart gets too far ahead of your common sense. Now, let's start with something that might surprise you. The first hidden health secret isn't dramatic, it's quiet, and that's exactly why it's so easy to miss. Undisclosed chronic conditions. You meet someone wonderful, they're charming, attentive, they look well put together. Maybe they say, "Oh, I'm in pretty good shape for my age." But what does that actually mean? High blood pressure? Type 2 diabetes? A heart condition? Early stage kidney disease? At our age, many people manage chronic illnesses very well, and there's no shame in that. The issue isn't the condition itself, it's whether it's being managed responsibly and whether you're being told the full story. Here's something to quietly pay attention to. Do they take medication regularly? Do they skip doctor appointments? Do they brush off health conversations with jokes or quick subject changes? You don't need to interrogate anyone, but you do deserve honesty. A simple, caring conversation like, "How do you stay healthy these days?" can open a door. If someone becomes defensive or vague, that's information too. Because here's the truth. When you partner with someone at this stage of life, their health becomes part of your daily life. Hospital visits, caregiving responsibilities, financial strain from unmanaged conditions, these are real possibilities, and love should be built on transparency, not surprises. Now, let me share the second hidden health secret that many people overlook, and this one is deeply emotional: unresolved mental health struggles. We grew up in a time when people didn't talk about depression. Anxiety wasn't something you admitted. Loneliness was something you just dealt with. So many people in their 60s and 70s carry emotional burdens silently. Maybe your new partner seems wonderful most days, but occasionally withdraws for long stretches. Maybe their mood shifts quickly. Maybe they speak negatively about themselves or seem unusually fearful about small things. Mental health challenges don't make someone unworthy of love, but they do require awareness and compassion, and sometimes professional support. Here's a gentle checklist item for you. Observe how they handle stress. When something goes wrong, do they communicate calmly, or do they shut down, blame others, explode unexpectedly? And even more important, are they open to talking about emotional well-being at all? A healthy partnership at this stage of life means being able to say, "I had a hard day," without shame. It means supporting each other, not becoming each other's untrained therapist. If someone refuses to acknowledge emotional struggles, you may eventually find yourself carrying weight you didn't expect. And now let's lean into something that often hides in plain sight: mobility and physical independence. This one is subtle, very subtle. On a dinner date, everything feels normal. Sitting across a table, anyone can appear energetic and capable. But what happens when there are stairs, a long walk, travel plans, dancing at a wedding? Watch for small clues. Do they avoid certain activities? Do they seem winded easily but laugh it off? Do they rely heavily on furniture or walls when standing up? Again, this isn't about judging someone for aging. We are all aging. The question is, are they being realistic about their physical abilities? If someone dreams of traveling the world but struggles to walk through an airport, that's not a minor detail. If they insist they're perfectly fine but quietly depend on others for basic tasks, you may step into a caregiving role sooner than expected. A simple way to approach this is to suggest light, casual activities: a walk in the park, a museum visit. Notice how they respond, not just physically, but emotionally. Do they adapt, or do they deny limitations entirely? Denial is far more concerning than limitation, because here's the heart of it: you deserve companionship, not silent responsibility. Now, before we continue, if this conversation feels helpful, go ahead and gently tap that like button. It helps this video reach other seniors who might need these reminders but are too shy to ask. And if you value honest, practical conversations about relationships, health, and independence after 60, make sure you're subscribed. We talk about the things most people avoid, but that truly matter. There's so much more to uncover because health isn't only about diagnoses or mobility. It also hides in habits, in history, in the choices someone makes when no one is watching. And that's where we're heading now.
Let's go a little deeper, because sometimes the biggest health secrets aren't written in medical charts. They show up in everyday habits. And if you don't pay attention early on, you might not notice until you're already emotionally invested. Here's something many people don't talk about openly: medication management. This may sound small, but it's not. At our age, most people take at least one prescription. Some take 5 or more. The real question isn't whether your new partner takes medication, it's whether they take it responsibly. Have you ever noticed someone casually say, "Oh, I don't really like taking pills, so I skip them sometimes"? Or maybe they adjust their own dosage without consulting a doctor. That's not independence, that's risky behavior. You might see signs without even trying. Do they know what their medications are for? Do they keep them organized, or are pill bottles scattered around with no clear system? This matters because poor medication habits can lead to sudden emergencies. Missed blood pressure pills can mean a stroke risk. Inconsistent diabetes medication can mean hospitalization. And if you're in a serious relationship, those consequences don't just affect them, they affect you. A gentle way to approach this isn't accusatory. It can be as simple as sharing your own routine. I have one of those weekly pill organizers. It really helps me stay on track. Their response will tell you a lot. Someone who is proactive about their health will engage confidently. Someone careless may brush it off. And speaking of brushing things off, let's talk about another hidden health factor that's even more delicate: addictive habits. Now, before you think this only applies to heavy drinking or obvious problems, let's broaden the lens. Addiction in later life can look different. It can be daily drinking that's normalized. It can be overuse of pain medication. It can even be gambling, excessive online spending, or emotional dependence on certain behaviors. When you're getting to know someone new, everything can feel light and celebratory: a glass of wine at dinner, a nightcap before bed. But pay attention to patterns. Is alcohol present every single day? Do they seem irritable without it? Do they minimize how much they consume? The same goes for prescription medications. Opioid dependence among seniors is more common than many realize. And because we tend to trust doctors, it can go unnoticed for years. You don't need to investigate like a detective, just observe consistency. Healthy habits are steady. Unhealthy habits tend to demand attention. And here's why this is so important. Addiction doesn't stay isolated. It impacts finances, mood, safety, and trust. If someone hides drinking, they may hide other things too. If they gamble secretly, that affects shared financial security. Which brings us to something people rarely connect directly to health, but they absolutely should: financial health tied to medical reality. You might wonder, what does money have to do with health secrets? Everything. Medical debt is one of the most common hidden burdens among seniors. Some people are too embarrassed to admit they're struggling with hospital bills, long-term treatment costs, or insurance gaps. Others may not have adequate coverage at all. Imagine building a future with someone only to discover later that they can't afford necessary care, or worse, that they expect you to step in financially. Have open conversations about insurance in a calm, matter-of-fact way. It doesn't have to be intense. Do you have Medicare Advantage or Original Medicare? Do you have supplemental coverage? These are practical questions at this stage of life. If someone avoids financial discussions completely or reacts defensively, that's worth noting. Transparency now prevents heartache later. And here's something even more subtle: future care expectations. This one usually doesn't come up during early romantic dinners, but it absolutely should before things become serious. Ask yourself quietly, if this person's health declines, what do they expect? Do they have long-term care insurance, adult children nearby, a plan? Or do they assume a partner will naturally step into a caregiving role? There is no right or wrong answer, but there must be clarity. Because love at 65 or 70 isn't just about companionship, it's about shared responsibility. And stepping into a full-time caregiving role without discussion can change your entire retirement plan. Notice how they talk about aging. Do they acknowledge it realistically, or do they insist they'll never slow down and refuse to discuss possibilities? Planning isn't pessimistic, it's wise, and wisdom is one of the greatest gifts of growing older. As you continue getting to know someone new, remember this: you're not being suspicious, you're being self-respecting. You've worked too hard to build stability in your life to risk it on unanswered questions. Now, let's talk about something that many people over 60 assume is no longer a concern, but it absolutely is: sexual health. I know, that word alone might make some of us shift in our seats. We didn't grow up in a time when seniors openly discussed intimacy, but here's the truth. People over 60 are dating, forming new relationships, and yes, being intimate. And with that comes real health considerations. One of the most overlooked realities today is the rise in sexually transmitted infections among older adults. Why? Because many seniors don't think they're at risk. Pregnancy is no longer a concern, so protection often gets ignored. And unfortunately, many people never think to get tested before entering a new relationship. This isn't about suspicion, it's about responsibility. If someone avoids conversations about past relationships or becomes uncomfortable when you mention health screenings, that's something to notice. A mature, secure partner should be able to have an honest conversation like, "When was your last checkup?" Or, "Should we both get tested before becoming intimate?" That's not unromantic, it's respectful. And beyond sexual health can reveal other hidden issues. Erectile dysfunction, vaginal dryness, low libido, these aren't character flaws, they're common medical realities. But how someone handles them tells you a great deal about their overall health and emotional maturity. Do they communicate openly, or do they hide, blame, or withdraw? Intimacy at this stage of life can be deeply beautiful. It can be slower, more intentional, more connected, but it must be grounded in honesty, because physical closeness without transparency can lead to emotional distance later. And this brings us gently to the bigger picture. When you're dating after 60, you're not just choosing a companion for dinners and holidays. You're choosing someone who may share doctor visits, recovery periods, medication schedules, lifestyle adjustments, and perhaps even caregiving roles. That doesn't mean you should become fearful. It means you should become thoughtful. Let's quietly reflect on the 5 hidden health areas we've talked about: chronic conditions that may not be fully disclosed, emotional and mental health struggles that are carried silently, mobility and physical independence that might not match the image presented, medication habits, addictive behaviors, and financial health tied to medical realities, and now sexual health and intimacy transparency. None of these are meant to scare you away from love. They're meant to protect your peace. Because here's something powerful. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to say, "I need to understand more before we move forward." At this stage of life, time feels more precious. We don't want to waste it. But rushing because we feel lonely or excited can lead to situations that are far more draining than being single ever was.
A healthy relationship in your 60s, 70s, or beyond should feel steady, calm, safe. It should add energy to your life, not quietly subtract it from you. And remember this, everyone has health issues eventually. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is honesty, responsibility, and shared awareness. If someone says, yes, I have high blood pressure, but I manage it carefully and see my doctor regularly, that's reassuring. If someone says, I've struggled with depression and I'm in counseling, that shows strength. It's the hiding that creates harm, not the condition itself. So as you move forward in your dating life, carry confidence with you. You have decades of life experience. You've raised families, built careers, survived losses, adapted to change. You are not naive, and you don't need to ignore red flags to keep someone around. Healthy love at this stage is built on conversations that might feel slightly uncomfortable at first, but lead to deep trust later. If this topic resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever discovered something important about a partner's health after the relationship became serious? What did you learn from it? Share in the comments. Your experience might help someone else who's quietly wondering the same things. And if you found this conversation helpful, go ahead and like the video. It truly helps more seniors find guidance like this. And don't forget to subscribe because we talk openly about relationships, independence, and protecting your well-being as you age. You deserve companionship that supports your health, not complicates it. You deserve transparency, respect, and a partner who values your peace as much as you do. Here's to wise choices, open hearts, and living your best life at any age.